Hey Clubhouse, Erin here. We are now on Ko-Fi, a support platform where you can help us grow while gaining access to exciting new storytime adventures like never before. Head to ko-fi.com and search Hippocampus Clubhouse in the Explore tab, where you'll find multiple ways to offer support, from one-time donations to choosing one of 4 membership options, all of which allow you even more access to both me and the Clubhouse, with special ways of saying thank you, including a personal shout-out to you right here on the podcast. Whether you're a monthly member, a one-time contributor, following us on Instagram, or simply love tuning in and sharing our story time with friends, we are so thankful for your support. Now, on to the show. Welcome back to the Hippocampus Clubhouse, a fun and inclusive SEL-based storytelling podcast for kids. Erin here, and today at the Clubhouse, we're discovering that no matter where we're planted or how difficult things may be around us, we have the ability to dream and make those dreams happen, even if that dream is just to fly. Not with wings, mind you, but with our imagination and our words. They do have the power to lift people up after all. We'll meet a brother and sister bored from being stuck in the house on a particularly rainy day. And with a bit of inspiration from their grandmother's words, they discover that their imaginations can lift them up and straight out of their boredom. Now, let's get comfy, cozy, and ready to open our hearts and minds with The Year We Learned to Fly, written by Jacqueline Woodson. The Year We Learned to Fly, written by Jacqueline Woodson. That was the year we learned to fly. That was the spring when the rain seemed like it would never stop, and the thunder boomed so hard we weren't allowed to go outside. Use those beautiful and brilliant minds of yours, my grandmother said. Lift your arms, close your eyes, take a deep breath and believe in a thing. Somebody, somewhere, at some point, was just as bored as you are now. So my brother and I closed our eyes, and for a few minutes on that first day, we weren't stuck in our apartment anymore. We were flying high over the city we'd known our whole lives, but it was suddenly different, exploding with every kind of flower we'd ever dreamed of growing. That was the summer we learned to fly, when my brother and I couldn't stop fussing with each other over whose turn it was to wash the windows, to feed the dog, and to clean the kitchen. We fought and frowned and made a silent promise to never, ever speak to each other again. My grandmother said, lift your arms, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and stop being so mean about everything. Somebody, somewhere, at some point, was just as mad as you are now. So we did. And as the soft wind took us out over the city and past the windows of kids who hadn't yet learned to fly, my brother and I reached for each other's hand, flying and diving and laughing and leaving all of our mad far behind us. That was the autumn our rooms felt too big and lonely, with only us in them, and the darkness coming on so fast. But while we hugged ourselves against the all too quiet of it all, we remembered that we didn't have to be stuck anywhere anymore. My grandmother had learned to fly from the people that came before her. She would say, "There were aunts and uncles and cousins who were brought here on huge ships, their wrists and ankles cuffed in iron. But," as my grandmother said, "nobody can ever cuff your beautiful and brilliant mind. So our people learned to fly," she said. "They dreamed a thing and made it happen, closed their eyes and flew away home. Lift your arms, close your eyes, and remember, somebody, somewhere, at some point, had to figure out they could fly." That was the winter we moved away from the building and the block and the friends we'd always known, to a street where the kids looked at us funny and didn't even answer when we asked them if they wanted to play. "It's okay," I said to my brother. "Somebody, somewhere, at some point, had to figure out they were ready for a new thing coming their way," I told him. So like the people who came before us, we lifted our arms even higher than before, closed our eyes even tighter, breathed in even deeper, and flew the way we'd always known how to, free as the aunties and uncles and cousins who'd come before us, free as our own beautiful and brilliant minds. And for a long time, the kids on the ground just watched us. But then, one by one, they lifted their arms. They too learned to fly. At the end of this book, the author has a note that I would like to share with you. She writes, "The first time I read The People Could Fly, American Black Folktales by the brilliant Virginia Hamilton, I realized that through her beautiful story, I was learning to fly. Not with wings, but with words. Her book is the story of how enslaved people escaped their hard lives by lifting up and flying away home, and every page is anointed with the illustrious paintings of Leo and Diane Dillon. As a kid, I always wondered how people were able to survive enslavement, but they did. And they passed down their stories and their fables and their memories to the young people coming along after them. And these stories gave us wings. Virginia Hamilton gave me and so many other writers storytelling wings. And with these wings, I have been able to fly past even the hardest of times into the world of my own stories. Sometimes the first step towards change is closing your eyes, taking a breath, and imagining a different way." The end. That was quite a story. I especially liked that the siblings took the words of their grandmother to heart and were able to shift their mindsets from bored, angry, or lonely, and move those thoughts to flying above it all, just as their ancestors had done so very long ago. Have you ever had something that you wished you could hide away from? What did you say to yourself in those moments? And how did they help? Oh, that is wonderful. Thank you for sharing that amazing outlook. And I hope you enjoyed the year we learned to fly, and maybe learn something new to share with those in your world. Grown-ups, if you're interested in purchasing this title, click the link in the show notes now. Our story time is made possible by listeners like you. We thank you for your support and sharing our story time with friends. If you're new to the Clubhouse, be sure to click subscribe, rate, and review. Until next time, be sure to tell your story with an open heart while listening to others with an open mind. Just like all who learn to fly do.